Hello, I'm Father John's neighbour. Now, a lot of people say to me, how can you be a priest these days when you don't run a church? And then obviously the next question is, why don't you run a church? Well, years ago when I first was ordained a priest, I used to run the cemetery chapels in Margate and Ramsgate. I was also chaplain at the Magistrates' Court and also used to attend the Crown Court. And I used to do services at Sampson Grange in Margate as well. Now, that was all well and good, but the problem is when you run a building or when you're working for a building which is owned by other people, you have to follow their rules. And the council, as we all know, aren't always as generous with their rules as other people are, and privately owned buildings, which is what Sampson Grange is, also survives on money. Now, as I said, I used to be one of the priests there. Unfortunately, we had a falling out because I was asked to, during a mass, to conduct a service for an adult, a baptism actually. And so during our Sunday service, I carried out the baptism for this adult. Then the owner at that time, who sadly since passed away, William, came running into the building during the service because he got told that there was a baptism, and as it's a private business they charge for baptisms, and he come in screaming, "Stop, stop, I haven't been paid, I haven't been paid," in front of everybody. We politely told him to say that, well, in our denomination we do not charge adults for baptisms. You know, that's why it's carried out during Mass. Anyway, I was asked not to attend again, and which was quite sad because I quite liked going there. Anyway, I was running the cemetery chapels, and what I did over the weekend, I used to play various forms of music and I used to invite everyone in. As people were going to the cemeteries to place flowers on the graves of their loved ones, I used to make cups of coffee and people used to stay to hear my Mass. And it was slightly different because I was getting everyone, Muslims, Jews, Orthodox, atheists, even a few Christians have turned up as well. But I think that was more because there was coffee and biscuits on offer. And from when I first opened there was no one. And then in the height of the summer, I was getting, over the course of a weekend, between 200 to 300 people stop in the small chapel. Unfortunately, the priests of other denominations, i.e. Roman Catholic and Church of England, complained to the council on the grounds of religious discrimination, stating that I shouldn't be allowed to use those chapels. And these were priests that already had their own beautiful buildings, but they was getting between 20, maybe on a really good day they had 60 people, and they didn't want me to run a chapel. So I ended up stopping there. After then I decided to look elsewhere and work on my online charity. Well, not so much charity really. I got involved more in charity works and started preaching more on LinkedIn and now on YouTube. But the one thing I have learnt about religion is as soon as you run a building, you end up losing a section of the faith which drew you into religion. I mean, I believed in Jesus Christ and his teachings, of course, and the Father, our God. And I thought, well, that's what it's all about. But the minute you're in a building, you've got to think of your electricity. You've got to think about the maintenance of the building. You can't leave that building because you're stuck, just like a bit of glue or a spider on a web. And you're then trying to entice everybody else to come and see you, you know, because you don't leave there in case somebody come in. So it's I do have a lot of admiration for priests that run a building, but I will never run a building again unless I own that building. If I own that building, I won't charge people for the services. I will be more open-minded, I will not be discriminate, and I will allow women and everybody else to be equal, i.e. come in and preach with me. Because the nicest thing about religion is, once you have your own building, you can literally practice what you preach. A story which we all know, the story of the Samaritans. Now, the Samaritan story was told by Christ because the leaders of the churches at those times did not care for everybody, i.e. their church building was who they had to look after. The Samaritan didn't care that the person needed help, was not a Samaritan. They were not part of their faith. They were part of the human race. And that is the mistake that Christians and other faiths tend to forget. We're all humans, we're all part of this great wonder called life. And I often think atheists often make better Christians. I hope that's given you something to think about today. And thank you, take care. Don't forget to click on like and ring that bell.